This video is going to be about my opinion, my main problem with Disney, with what they're doing with Marvel movies. Because this year, well, 2017, last year, all the Marvel movies I saw, which was Logan, which wasn't Disney, but Marvel, Logan, Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Spider-Man Homecoming. Logan is spectacular. Well, not by Disney, but it's a fantastic movie. Spider-Man Homecoming, me personally, I didn't like. I liked Vulture. I liked that villain. I didn't care for anything else in that movie. I thought it was annoying, just cheap humor, just, really awkward. I mean, I know they're supposed to be teenagers, but just really forced jokes that I was just like, I don't know, maybe I have to be, which I'm only 22, but I still felt like I had to be like 16 to, feel the movie. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 2, a few good moments, but overall I hated it, and I didn't hate the first one. I love the first one, and I don't think James Gunn is a bad director. I like Slither. I think it's a funny movie. And the first Guardians of the Galaxy, I think it had the right mix of humor and, seriousness, action. It was all perfectly, like a perfect meal getting ready to cook. But with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it just felt like everything had to be, they said, oh, everyone loved the first one because it's funny. That's why they loved it. So the second one, they were just like, hey, let's make a joke after a joke after a joke after a joke. Oh, a serious moment? Joke, You can't, there was not one serious moment when, you're like, wow, I really, this scene is hitting me. And then instantly it's, ha ha ha, some kind of joke. And, everyone in the theater that's 12 is laughing. I wasn't laughing. Neither was any of my friends. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. It's just not for me. Me, personally, in general, I don't really like funny movies or comedies. And then with Thor Ragnarok, I think it was a fun movie. I enjoyed watching it. But there was way too, once again, there's too much humor. People say, oh, well, that's what they were going for. I know that's what they were going for. They shouldn't have, though. It's Ragnarok. It's the end of Asgard. Why is everything a joke? Imagine if Saving Private Ryan, that movie, imagine if it was just a joke. When they're storming, the beaches of Normandy and all your friends are getting shot and, you got your arm blown off and you're just sitting there, with the Etch-a-Sketch, fucking drawing a dick or something, laughing. It's just something like that. It just doesn't make sense. Why would you make something funny that's not supposed to be funny? And right from the beginning, when Thor is captured and he's talking to Surtur. Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm tired. It's, he's chained up and he just keeps spinning in a circle. And, he'll say, Surtur will say something serious and Thor goes, oh, sorry, I'm turning, sorry. Turns around, oh, okay, oh, sorry. And they kept doing that. It's like, okay, it was, I laughed a little the first time, but then they kept doing it. It's like, I get it, okay, ha ha, cheap jokes, wow, you're funny. And the guy who made Thor Ragnarok, I've seen his other movie, What We Do in the Shadows. I found that funny, which the whole movie is supposed to be a comedy, but they had, the parts that are supposed to be serious were serious. So I was like, what is he doing with this movie? With Thor. Like, even the antagonist. The antagonist, Hela. Everything was just a joke. I never took her seriously because the way she talked was very, I know it's a comic book movie, but it was so over the top, and just, trying to be like a smart ass, funny, and then other people would say funny shit to her, and you never feel seriousness in their fight because they're just cracking jokes and shit. And oh man, and you know, I've read Planet Hulk, and I watched I have the animated movie, and I like what they did with Korg and Meek. You know, if you watch the animated movie, I don't think there's one funny thing about it. It's not even about Ragnarok. It's about, you know, Planet Hulk. And in that movie, there's like not one joke. It's all serious, and you know, they deal with a lot of shit, like a whole town being massacred by these bug things. You know, it's pretty serious. And Korg and Meek, you know, they're not this funny duo. Now kids think, you know, Korg and Meek are this funny thing, but they're not. You know, Korg, you know, he went through some shit, and Meek, you know, Meek is with him. But the movie, Meek doesn't even talk. He's just there, and Corey has a high pitched, funny voice, and everything's a joke. Everything that comes out of his mouth is a joke, and I couldn't take it. And you know, it's just one of those things that bugs me. You know, maybe I'm overthinking it, because people who don't know about Ragnarok will think, you know, oh yeah, you know, whatever, it's fun. But I've read about it, you know, I've read it, and I've seen Planet Hulk, so it bugs me, knowing how it should be, and how they just made it a comedy. You know, if you have a right blend of it, that's okay. And you know, and then the other part of this video that I want to talk about is how people say the DC movies are, you know, too dark, and I don't see a problem with that. You know, look at Logan. Logan had some subtle humor, but overall it was like, it was real. You know, it was some real shit. And you know, people complained Batman versus Superman was too dark, but in reality, you know, I personally like the movie on the Ultimate Edition, where they fleshed out more details. But you know, everyone thinks Superman could be a terrorist, and you know, it's kind of like about him. While some people think he's doing good, but people also, you know, think Batman's doing good, but also think, you know, he's a bad guy. So you know, you're dealing with some, you know, I feel like that really happened. I feel like it's like the it's like the Sokovia Accords in Civil War. I was like, okay, they're actually acknowledging that, you know, these people are dangerous. You know, people would view them not really as heroes, but more as like, you know, whoa, what are they possible of doing? And you know, even now with Watchmen, you know, when you read the Watchmen graphic novel, there's really not like, there's subtle like humor, but it's more of like, you know, Rorschach being rude or something, and you find that funny. And the movie, you know, once again, the movie, I have the Ultimate Edition. I think you know, once they fleshed out a lot of stuff, is much better, and I enjoyed it. And it was pretty dark, you know, pretty grim. I enjoyed it. I find more enjoyment out of those DC movies, which Justice League came out, and it was weird. Some parts you felt like were supposed to be really serious, but then other parts were very funny. I don't think the movie's that terrible, but I can definitely notice that there's some flaws with it. But, you know, I think the Marvel movies, you know, I hope that Infinity War isn't just cracking jokes all the time. That was another thing, Civil War. Overall, I like the movie, but, you know, the one part that me and my friend always joke around with is when they're fighting in the airport. You know, you never feel like they're actually fighting. You feel like it's like play fighting. Like, you know, they're like, you know, just, you know, some of them are throwing punches real hard, and the other ones, it just seems like they're faking it. And the part that I keep joking about is when Hawkeye is fighting Black Widow, and he says, you know, are we still going to be friends after this? And she says, you know, depends how hard you hit me. I fucking laughed at how stupid that was. Like, I laughed in the theater of how stupid that was. To me, that's stupid. And it just shows that, you know, they're just play fighting. And, you know, with Ant-Man, when he goes back to being Ant-Man after being Giant Man, you know, he pops his helmet off, and he's like, you know, anyone have any orange slices? And it's like, ha ha ha. And, you know, Spider-Man fighting Falcon and Winter Soldier, and just cracking jokes and stuff. I was like, this, you know, this takes me out of it. I don't really feel like they're fighting. It's just a big joke. The only serious part of that fight is when Vision accidentally shoots War Machine, and he falls down, and they think he's dead, and Iron Man fucking shoots Falcon in the chest. I felt like, wow, damn, that's serious. But besides that, I loved everything else in the movie. Right from the beginning, it's like, you don't know what the Avengers are capable of. They blow up a building and kill people, and it deals with terrorism. I was like, wow, okay. Which with Winter Soldier, they had some jokes, but overall, I was very impressed. Iron Man. The scene with like Yinsen when he gets killed, and it's a deep scene. I was like, okay, but I do agree that Marvel is definitely winning the live action movies. Obviously, I feel like they could make these movies 30 years, crank a movie out a month, and they'd still be the best. I wouldn't think they're the best personally, but overall, people would keep watching them. But I think that the DC animated universe, I think they're just. I have can't see, but I have quite a bit of the movies, and they're phenomenal. I think what makes them good is, you know, short controlled bursts. Like you burst. Like when you fire a gun, it's more accurate because you're not going all the way. Sorry, I'm getting off topic, but the animated movies are shorter, so they make every scene count. So every scene, something is catching your eye. You're like, whoa, wow, okay. And they've made a bunch of those movies, and they all connect. It's all continuity. And, I mean, not all, but most. And you're just like, wow, hell yeah. Like Flashpoint. Oh man, that was really good. I recently, my friend bought me Justice League Dark, and right from the beginning, this lady's running over people thinking that they're demons, and this other lady's about to throw her newborn baby off a church roof, and another guy is about to shoot his wife and son thinking that they're demons. It's just like, damn, they're not afraid to. They're not afraid to step it up, with Marvel, since they're either because they're owned by Disney or what. I feel like they have limitations, but with DC, especially after watching Watchmen, man, they just like, they don't give a shit. They're doing what they want to do, and nothing's gonna stop them. But overall, I'd like to see what happens to Marvel movies. I'll keep watching. Not opening day, but I'll still watch. I just feel like maybe I'm burnt out. Just too many superhero movies. I'm hoping, Infinity War, New Mutants, that kind of Black Panther. I hope it's all good and not just full of jokes. But yeah, that's about it for my little rant. I feel like people want to choose one when both have their pros and cons. DC and Marvel. One thing might have the other something that the other one doesn't. I feel like you can like both. Watch the Marvel live action movies, watch the DC live action movies. Who gives a crap? Just watch either one. It's all about what you like. You don't have to feel like you're a part of some fanboy, fan group. So, yeah. Thanks for listening. That'll be it. See you next time.